Nobody wants to hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. The women you see on social media, the ones with the designer bags, the luxury apartments, the first-class flights, the brunch spreads, the perfectly curated outfits that cost more than most people's rent. Most of them are broke. Not kind of broke. Not a little stretched. Not, I'll catch up next month. Broke. Financing a lifestyle they cannot sustain. Paying 24% interest on an image they are building for strangers who will forget them by tomorrow. Spending money they don't have on things they don't need to impress people they don't even particularly like. And meanwhile, the actually wealthy women, the ones with real money, real assets, real options, real financial freedom, you've never seen their portfolio on Instagram. You've never seen their investment account on TikTok. You've never seen them doing a What's in My Savings reveal video because they're too busy doing something else entirely. They're doing the boring stuff, the quiet stuff, the unglamorous stuff, the stuff that doesn't make a good reel, the stuff nobody invites you to celebrate, the stuff that looks completely unremarkable from the outside, but is building something extraordinary on the inside, something that most people won't see for years. But when they finally see it, they'll wonder how she did it. And today I'm going to show you exactly how. Not because these habits are exciting, not because they're going to go viral, but because they work. They have always worked. And they will keep working long after every get-rich-quick scheme, every financial trend, every viral money hack has come and completely gone. My name is Cynthia, and this is The Wealth Rule by Cynthia. And these are the 10 unsexy money habits that actually build wealth. Stay with me, because this one is going to change everything. Before I get into the list, I want to introduce you to two women. Same age, same city, same starting salary, fresh out of college, same everything on paper. Let's call them Tiffany and Zoe. Tiffany is the woman everyone notices. Beautiful apartment in a trendy neighborhood. New outfits constantly, always on trend, always immaculate. Brunches every weekend at the kind of places that charge $22 for eggs. Regular vacations documented extensively on social media. Nails done every 2 weeks. Lashes. Hair. Always fresh. Always flawless. Tiffany looks wealthy. Tiffany feels wealthy. Tiffany's Instagram has 4,000 followers who genuinely believe she has it all figured out. Tiffany has $180 in her savings account. Zoe is the woman nobody really notices. Lives in a comfortable but modest apartment. Doesn't post much. Has a rotating wardrobe of quality pieces she's worn for years. Cooks at home most nights. Drives a reliable car she bought used and paid cash for. Seems like she's just living quietly. Zoe has $71,000 saved and invested at 28 years old. Same salary, same city, same starting point. For years out of college, $71,000 versus $180. The difference between Tiffany and Zoe is not income, not luck, not a rich family, not a viral moment, not a man, not a side hustle that blew up overnight. It's 10 habits. 10 boring, quiet, completely unsexy habits that Zoe practices consistently, week after week, month after month, without fanfare, without an audience, without anyone clapping for her, that Tiffany has decided are beneath her lifestyle. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what those 10 habits are. And more importantly, you're going to understand why starting even 3 of them this week will change your financial life within 6 months. Let's go. Habit number 1. Zoe knows exactly where every single dollar goes. Tiffany has a rough idea of her finances. She knows roughly what she makes. She has a vague sense of what she spends. She avoids looking too closely because honestly the numbers make her anxious, and she doesn't want that energy in her life right now. Zoe knows exactly what she makes, exactly what she spends, exactly what she saves, exactly what she invests, down to the dollar, every single month without exception. Not because Zoe is obsessive, not because Zoe is anxious about money, because Zoe understands something fundamental that most people never fully grasp. You cannot manage what you don't measure. Read that again, slowly. You cannot manage what you don't measure. If you don't know where your money is going, it is going everywhere. And everywhere means nowhere useful. It means $230 a month on subscriptions you signed up for and forgot about. It means $450 on food you barely remember eating. It means $200 on random online purchases that felt completely reasonable in the moment and feel meaningless 3 weeks later. Zoe tracks every single expense. Not obsessively, not anxiously, deliberately. She uses a simple notebook, 15 minutes at the end of every week, to review where her money went that week. And every month she sits down for 30 minutes and reviews the complete picture. Income, expenses, savings, investments, every category, every number. This habit alone, simply knowing where your money actually goes, will reveal more opportunities to build wealth than any financial advice you will ever receive. Because you cannot cut what you cannot see. You cannot redirect what you don't know is leaking. You cannot build with money that is quietly disappearing through 100 small holes you don't even know exist. When Zoe first started tracking, she discovered she was spending $340 a month on food delivery alone. Not groceries, just delivery apps. She had genuinely no idea. The orders were small individually, $18 here, $23 there, but they were constant. And they were adding up to $340 a month she could not account for before she started tracking. One habit, one notebook, 1 month of honest tracking. And she found $340 a month she didn't know she had. That's where it starts. Habit number 2. Zoe automates her savings before she can spend them. Here's what Tiffany does every month. Tiffany gets paid on the 1st. She pays her rent and her essential bills. She lives her life for 3 weeks. She gets her nails done and goes to brunch and buys things she sees on Instagram and orders food when she doesn't feel like cooking and subscribes to things that seem useful at the time. Then on the 27th, she checks her account and thinks, okay, I should really save something this month. She finds a reason to spend most of what's left. She saves $50, maybe $80 on a really good month. Tiffany is saving what's left over, and there is never enough left over, because life is very good at spending every dollar you don't protect in advance. Here's what Zoe does. Zoe gets paid on the 1st. On the 2nd, automatically, without touching it, without seeing it, without making a single decision about it, 20% of her paycheck transfers directly into a separate savings account she does not use for daily spending. It has a different bank, a different app. It is slightly inconvenient to access. That inconvenience is intentional. Zoe doesn't decide whether to save this month. The decision was made once when she set up the automation and has never needed to be made again. This is called paying yourself first, and it is the single most powerful savings habit that exists. Not because it is complicated or sophisticated or requires financial expertise, because it removes the decision entirely. The most dangerous moment in personal finance is the moment when money is sitting in your account and you have to choose between saving it and spending it. Because in that moment, after a long week, with things you want, with life happening all around you, with a notification on your phone about a sale that ends tonight, spending almost always wins. Human psychology is not built for delayed gratification in a world designed for instant consumption. Fighting that battle with willpower alone is exhausting, and it eventually fails. Automation doesn't fight the battle. It removes the battlefield entirely. Zoe has automated $700 a month into savings and investments for the past 3 years. $700 a month. Automatically. Every single month. Whether she had a great week or a terrible one. Whether she was motivated or completely burned out. Whether she remembered or completely forgot. It just happened. Because she set it up once and never touched it again. That's $25,200 before investment returns. She never missed it. She adjusted her lifestyle to what remained. And her wealth grew automatically every single month while she was busy living her life. Habit number 3. Zoe drives a car that is paid for. This is the one that is going to create some feelings. I can already sense it, because we live in a culture that treats a woman's car as a reflection of her status, her success, her taste, her worthiness of being taken seriously. Tiffany drives a 2022 Audi Q3, $680 a month payment, 72-month loan. Insurance on a luxury SUV, $310 a month. Maintenance costs that are significantly higher than a standard vehicle. Total monthly car cost, approximately $1,050 a month, $12,600 a year, going toward a vehicle that will be worth less than half of what she paid for it by the time she finishes paying for it. Zoe drives a 2018 Toyota Camry she bought used for $13,000 cash 2 years ago. Insurance, $88 a month. Zero car payment. Reliable. Comfortable. Gets her everywhere Tiffany's Audi gets her. To work, to dinner, to the airport, to her family. The difference between their monthly car costs is approximately $962 a month. $962 a month invested at 7% average annual return over 20 years is $627,000. Over $600,000. From a car decision, the Toyota doesn't just save Zoe money. It is actively building her wealth every single month while Tiffany's Audi is actively destroying hers. Now I understand that the car you drive has emotional weight. I understand that a woman who has worked hard wants to enjoy the fruits of that work. I am not saying you should never drive a nice car. I am saying understand what it actually costs, not the monthly payment, the total lifetime wealth destruction, the opportunity cost of every dollar going to that payment instead of to your future. And then make the decision with full information. Most people make car decisions based on what they can afford monthly. That is exactly the framing the dealership wants you to use, because monthly payments hide the true cost. The wealthy ask a different question. Not can I afford the payment, but what is this decision actually costing my future self? Answer that question honestly. Then decide. Habit number 4. Zoe never buys anything significant without waiting 72 hours. This habit sounds almost insultingly simple. It is one of the most financially powerful things you will ever do. Tiffany sees something she wants. Tiffany buys it, sometimes immediately, sometimes within minutes of seeing it on someone's page or in a targeted ad that somehow knew exactly what she was thinking about. The dopamine hit of purchasing is immediate and real and feels genuinely good. The credit card bill arrives later and feels completely disconnected from that good feeling. Zoe has one rule, a rule she has followed without exception for over 2 years now. Any purchase over $40 that is not a planned expense gets written in the Notes app on her phone. The item, the price, the date she wanted it, and she does not buy it for 72 hours. 72 hours. 3 days. That is the entire rule. If after 72 hours she still wants it, genuinely still wants it, not just remembers that she wanted it, and it fits her budget for that month, she buys it. Without guilt, without second-guessing. She wanted it, she waited, she gets it. But here is what actually happens. Approximately 80% of the things she writes down she never buys. Within 72 hours, the desire has faded, the excitement has passed, the emotion that drove the impulse has dissolved, and the rational, clear-headed version of herself looks at that note and thinks, I don't actually need this. Because most impulse purchases are not really about the item. They're about a feeling, excitement, boredom, stress, social comparison, the feeling of a bad day that needed something good in it. And feelings are temporary. 72 hours is usually enough time for the feeling to pass and clarity to return. The 72-hour rule is a filter between you and the entire multi-billion-dollar machine that exists specifically to separate you from your money as quickly and as pleasurably as possible. Tiffany buys things in moments of emotion and finds them underwhelming in the cold light of Tuesday morning. Zoe buys things deliberately and enjoys every single one of them because she actually wanted them. Habit number 5. Zoe cooks at home more than she eats out. I hear the groans. Stay with me. Let me show you exactly what this unsexy habit is actually worth in real money. The average woman who eats out regularly, lunch out 3 times a week, dinner out twice a week, daily coffee, weekend brunches, occasional food delivery when life gets busy, spends approximately $650 to $900 a month on food outside the home. That's before groceries. Tiffany spends approximately $780 a month eating out. She knows this now because she started tracking last year and the number horrified her. Chipotle lunches, Starbucks every morning, brunch every Sunday at $45 a head plus tip. DoorDash 3 nights a week when she's too tired to think about cooking. Casual dinners with friends at places where the bill always somehow ends up being $70 a person before you've even blinked. $780 a month. On food she barely remembers eating. Zoe spends $290 a month on groceries and approximately $60 eating out intentionally. A dinner she genuinely wants, a brunch she planned and looks forward to. Total food budget, $350 a month. The monthly difference, $430. $430 a month invested at 7% over 25 years. $346,000. $346,000. From choosing to cook at home more than eating out. Zoe meal preps on Sundays. Not because she loves cooking. Not because she has some special gift in the kitchen. Because she made a decision that 2 hours on Sunday is worth $346,000 over her lifetime. She puts on a podcast she loves, makes enough food for the week, and solves the what am I eating tonight problem before it becomes a tired Tuesday night DoorDash order. The secret to cooking at home more is not motivation. Motivation disappears when you're exhausted at 8 p.m. after a full day. The secret is removing the decision entirely. If the food is already made, the question is never cook or order. The question is just, which container do I open? Remove the decision. Remove the DoorDash temptation. Remove $430 a month from your expenses. Keep $346,000 for your future self. Habit number 6. Zoe has an emergency fund she treats as untouchable. Most women know they should have an emergency fund. Almost none of them actually have one that is genuinely funded and genuinely protected. Here is the cycle Tiffany is trapped in. Something unexpected happens. Her laptop dies, her car needs a repair, a medical bill arrives, a flight home for a family emergency. Tiffany puts it on her credit card because she has no savings to cover it. The credit card charges 23% interest. She makes minimum payments for months. While she's making minimum payments, she can't save. While she can't save, the next emergency hits. Back to the credit card. The balance grows. The interest compounds. And Tiffany is not just staying still financially. She is actively going backwards every single time life does what life always does. Something unexpected happens. Zoe covers it in cash from her emergency fund. Feels a sting. Makes a plan to replenish it over the next 2 to 3 months. Done. No credit card. No interest. No backward spiral. No months of recovery. Just a temporary dip in savings that gets rebuilt and then continues growing. Zoe has $12,000 in a high-yield savings account earning 4.5% interest. That's approximately 5 months of her living expenses. She built it over 16 months. $200 here, $300 there, the occasional windfall put straight in, until it hit the level she needed. Here's why the emergency fund is actually the foundation of all wealth building, and not just a safety net. Without an emergency fund, every financial surprise destroys your progress. Every destroyed progress takes months to recover. Every month of recovery is a month you're not investing. Every month you're not investing is a month compound interest is not working for you. Compound interest is the most powerful wealth building force available to ordinary people. But it requires time. It requires consistency. It requires being in the market, in the savings account, building, without constant interruption. The emergency fund protects the consistency. The consistency protects the compound growth. The compound growth builds the wealth. It is not exciting. It is foundational. 3 to 6 months of your expenses. High-yield savings account, not your checking account. A separate account that takes a small effort to access, so you don't dip into it for things that are not actual emergencies. Build it. Protect it. Let it protect you. Habit number 7. Zoe invests consistently regardless of what the market is doing. This is where the majority of people who try to invest eventually fail. Not because they don't invest, because they invest emotionally. They buy in when markets are climbing and everyone is excited and it feels like free money. They panic and sell when markets drop and the news is terrifying and it feels like everything is falling apart. They pause their contributions when things look uncertain because it feels irresponsible to put money in right now. They wait for the right time to get back in, a time that always seems to be just around the corner but never quite arrives. And in doing this, they consistently buy high and sell low. The exact opposite of every principle of wealth building. Zoe does something that sounds almost too simple to work. She invests the same amount on the same date every single month, regardless of what the market is doing, regardless of what the news is saying, regardless of how she feels about the economy, the political situation, the interest rates, the recession fears, or the economic optimism. Same amount, same date, every month. Index funds. Done. This is called dollar cost averaging, and it is one of the most studied, most proven, most boring, and most effective investment strategies ever discovered. When the market is up, her monthly investment buys fewer shares at higher prices. When the market is down, and markets always go down sometimes, that is the nature of markets, her monthly investment buys more shares at a discount. Over time, she accumulates an average cost per share that is lower than if she had tried to time her entries perfectly. And here is the truth about timing the market that Wall Street doesn't advertise loudly. Even the most sophisticated institutional investors, people with entire floors of analysts, artificial intelligence systems, decades of data, and billions of dollars of resources, cannot consistently time the market correctly. The academic research on this question is vast, and the conclusion is consistent. Nobody can time the market reliably. Nobody. But anyone can be in the market. Consistently. For decades. And the historical average annual return of the broad stock market over the long term is approximately 7% after inflation. $500 a month invested consistently at 7% for 30 years is $567,000. Not from picking the right stocks. Not from perfect timing. Not from financial genius. From showing up every month, without fail, for 30 years. Zoe doesn't check her portfolio every morning. She doesn't panic when it drops 18% in a bad quarter. She doesn't get euphoric and start making bold moves when it climbs 25% in a good year. She just keeps investing. Every month. Like a habit. Like a utility bill she pays automatically. This is not exciting. This is how wealth is actually built. Habit number 8. Zoe lives below her means even as her income grows. This is the habit that most clearly separates the women who build genuine, lasting wealth from the women who simply earn more money and spend more money and end up in the same position regardless of how high their income climbs. Here is what happens to most high-earning women. They get a raise. They upgrade their apartment. They buy a nicer car. They start eating at better restaurants. They upgrade their wardrobe to match their new professional status. They book better holidays. They get more premium subscriptions. Their lifestyle expands to perfectly match and then slightly exceed their new income level. Their income goes up $600 a month. Their expenses go up $600 a month. Their savings stay exactly, precisely, frustratingly the same. This is lifestyle inflation. and it is the silent wealth killer of the entire professional class. Not just middle-income earners, high-income earners. People making $90,000, $120,000, $150,000 a year who somehow have nothing to show for it because every raise they ever received went directly to a bigger life instead of a better future. Tiffany has been promoted twice in 4 years. Her salary has gone from $48,000 to $67,000, a $19,000 increase. She now spends $67,000 a year. Her savings are lower than they were at $48,000 because her lifestyle grew faster than her income. Zoe has also been promoted twice. Her salary has gone from $48,000 to $65,000. She now spends $50,000 a year. The remaining $15,000 goes to savings and investments. Every time Zoe gets a raise, she does something specific and intentional. She allows herself to enjoy 50% of the increase. A slightly nicer apartment eventually, a treat she'd been wanting, a better holiday once a year. She is not depriving herself. She is not pretending she doesn't deserve to enjoy her success. But the other 50% of every raise, automatically, before it touches her daily account, goes directly to savings and investments. This one rule, 50% of every raise to lifestyle, 50% to the future, applied consistently across a career of raises and promotions, is the mechanism through which ordinary income becomes extraordinary wealth. Not a complicated investment strategy, not timing the market perfectly, not a lucky break, just a rule, applied consistently, every single time her income grew. Habit number 9. Zoe carries 0 credit card debt. Always. Let me show you exactly what credit card debt actually costs. Not in monthly payments, in total lifetime wealth destruction. Because most people only look at the monthly payment. And the monthly payment is specifically designed to look manageable. Tiffany carries $9,200 in credit card debt at 22% interest. She makes the minimum payment every month, approximately $184. At this rate, it will take her 34 years to pay off that $9,200, and the total amount she will pay by the time it is gone, over $22,000. On $9,200 of original purchases, she will pay $12,800 extra, more than she originally borrowed, for the privilege of buying things she bought years ago, things she may not even own anymore, things she has probably completely forgotten about. But here is the truly devastating calculation that credit card companies hope you never sit down and do. That same $184 a month, the money she is sending to the credit card company every month, invested at 7% for 30 years would be worth $222,000. $222,000. So Tiffany's credit card balance doesn't just cost her $12,800 in extra interest. When you count the investment opportunity it costs her approximately $235,000 in total lifetime wealth. From one credit card balance she barely thinks about. Zoe uses a credit card. She uses it for the cashback rewards, the fraud protection, and the spending records it provides. But she pays the complete balance every single month. Not the minimum, not most of it, the entire balance, every single month without exception. If Zoe cannot pay the full balance from her current month's budget, she does not make the purchase. That is the complete rule. There is no exception to it. There is no, I'll cover it next month. If the money is not there, the purchase does not happen. Because Zoe understands what Tiffany hasn't fully calculated yet. There is no investment in the world that consistently returns 22% annually, which means paying off credit card debt is mathematically the highest guaranteed return investment available to the average person. And keeping that debt paid off permanently means that return compounds in your favor every single month for the rest of your life. Paid off. Keep it paid off. Use the card as the tool it was designed to be, not as the emergency fund you never built. Habit number 10. Zoe invests in herself deliberately and consistently. This is the habit that almost never appears on lists like this, but it might be the single highest leverage financial move available to most women. And I am not going to skip it just because it's less talked about. Every year, Zoe sets aside a specific budget for her own growth. Currently $1,800 a year. Books, online courses, professional certifications, industry conferences where she meets people further along than her, occasional coaching or mentoring, things that make her better at what she does, and open doors that were previously closed. And the return on this investment has been extraordinary, not in some vague, inspirational sense, in real, measurable dollars. The first professional certification she pursued cost her $400 and took 4 months of evening study. It led directly to a promotion and a $9,000 salary increase. That is a 2,250% return on $400. A negotiation and communication course she bought for $280 gave her the tools and confidence to negotiate her next raise, which came in $6,000 higher than what her employer initially offered. A $35 book on index fund investing gave her the foundational knowledge that led to her starting to invest properly at 24 years old. At her current trajectory, that decision, made because of a $35 book, will be worth over $400,000 in retirement. Here is the fundamental truth about wealth building that nobody teaches in school. Your income is the engine of your entire financial life. Everything flows from it. Your savings rate, your investment contributions, your ability to pay down debt, your ability to build an emergency fund, your ability to live below your means while still enjoying your life. And your income is directly connected to what you know, what you can do, and how effectively you can communicate and advocate for yourself in professional settings. Investing in your skills, your knowledge, your communication, and your professional capabilities is the highest leverage financial move available to most people, because the return, in the form of higher income, better opportunities, stronger negotiating position, more options, compounds across your entire career. Every raise you earn through better skills leads to a higher base for the next raise. The compounding is not just in your investment account. It is in your income trajectory. Tiffany spends her money on things that depreciate immediately, things that are worth less the moment she buys them. Zoe spends her money on things that appreciate over time. Knowledge, skills, and capabilities that become more valuable the longer she holds them and the more she builds on top of them. After 10 years, the gap between these two approaches to spending is not measured in thousands of dollars. It is measured in hundreds of thousands. Now, let me show you what all 10 habits look like together, because individually each one of these is meaningful. But together, practiced consistently, compounding on each other, they create something that genuinely cannot be stopped. When you track every dollar, you find the leaks. When you automate your savings, you pay your future self before your present self can object. When you drive a sensible car, you free up $900 to $1,000 a month that goes toward building your future instead of financing a depreciating asset. When you wait 72 hours before buying, you stop approximately 80% of impulse purchases before they drain your account. When you cook at home more, you save $400 or more a month without feeling deprived or restricted. When you build an emergency fund, you stop going backwards every single time life does what life always does. When you invest consistently, you let compound interest work for you across decades instead of working against you through debt. When you live below your means, your wealth grows every single time your income grows instead of your lifestyle growing to consume it. When you eliminate credit card debt, you stop paying 22% interest on your past in order to fund your future. When you invest in yourself, your income engine becomes more powerful every single year, making every other habit more effective. Each habit alone creates meaningful change. All 10 together create a wealth-building system that compounds on itself year after year. Now, let me give you the numbers, because I need you to feel this. Zoe starts these habits at 25. She automates $700 a month to savings and investments. She drives a paid-off car, saving $962 a month compared to Tiffany. She invests $500 a month consistently in index funds. She eliminates credit card debt, saving $184 a month. She cuts food, saving $430 a month. She invests $1,800 a year in herself, which generates $15,000 in additional income over 4 years through promotions and better negotiation. That is approximately $1,976 a month more going toward Zoe's future than Tiffany's. $1,976 a month invested at 7% average annual return for 30 years. Zoe at 55, approximately $2.4 million. Tiffany at 55, stressed, still working, still posting beautiful content, still wondering where all the money went. Same income, same city, same starting point, same 30 years, $2.4 million difference. From 10 boring habits that nobody sees, nobody claps for, and nobody posts about. Now, let me be honest with you about something, because I respect your time too much to just give you a list and wish you luck. Starting all 10 habits simultaneously is probably too much. If you try to change everything at once, the overwhelm will be real and it will make you quit within a month. I have seen this happen. The motivation is high at the start. The list feels manageable in theory, but life pushes back. And without a specific plan, the whole thing collapses. So here is what I actually recommend. Pick 3, just 3, the 3 habits from this list that feel most immediately actionable for where you are right now. The 3 that you could genuinely start this week, not eventually, not when the timing is right, not after the next paycheck, this week. Write them down, on paper. Specifically, I will automate $200 to savings on the 2nd of every month. Not, I will try to save more. Specific, measurable, scheduled. Do those 3 consistently for 60 days. After 60 days, and this is the part that surprises people, those habits will no longer feel like discipline. They will feel like you. They will feel like part of your identity, like something you just do, like brushing your teeth. You don't have to motivate yourself to brush your teeth every morning. You just do it because it's who you are. That is what habits become after 60 days of consistency. Identity. Then add 3 more. Then 3 more after that. And watch, quietly, without fanfare, without a viral moment, what happens to your financial life over the next 3 years. I want to leave you with one final thought before you go. Sexy is expensive. The luxury apartment is expensive. The designer wardrobe is expensive. The constant brunches are expensive. The new car smell is expensive. The perfectly curated life for the internet is expensive. Boring is wealthy. The paid-off Honda is wealthy. The home-cooked meal is wealthy. The automated savings transfer is wealthy. The index fund that nobody posts about is wealthy. The 72-hour wait before buying is wealthy. Sexy costs you your future. Boring builds it. And the women who end up genuinely financially free, not temporarily looking successful, but actually owning their time, having real options, never having to stay in a job or a situation longer than it serves them because they need the money. They all made the same choice somewhere along the way. They chose boring early, so they could have everything later. That is the real flex. Not the bag, not the car, not the apartment, the options, the freedom, the security of knowing that whatever happens, job loss, breakup, health scare, family emergency, any of the things life throws at you, you're going to be okay. That is what Zoe is building with her boring habits. That is what 10 unsexy choices, practiced consistently, quietly, without applause, are building in the background of her ordinary-looking life. And it is absolutely, completely, undeniably worth it Drop a comment right now and tell me, which 3 habits are you starting this week? I read every single comment, and I genuinely want to know where you're starting from. And if you know a woman in your life who is tired of looking successful and feeling broke, share this video with her right now. It might just change the entire direction of her financial life. Subscribe, because next week we're going even deeper on something that is going to shock you even more than this one did. I'll see you in the next one.